The UN General Assembly follows a decision by several Western countries to formally recognize the state of Palestine. France led the latest push for statehood. Speaking at a special UN meeting on Monday, French President Emmanuel Macron said it's time that his country recognizes a Palestinian state to preserve the possibility of a two-state solution. President Donald Trump has condemned the move, saying it rewards Hamas. The French president is due to address the General Assembly in the coming hours. Well, Ofer Bronchtein is the special envoy of French President Emmanuel Macron for the Israeli-Palestinian peace process. He joins us from New York, where he's attending the UN General Assembly with the French delegation. Appreciate you making time to speak to us. You've been pressing President Macron, haven't you, since, 2020, the last 5 years, to take this step and recognize Palestine. Do you think this step has come a little late?
It's never too late. I would have loved that to happen a little bit earlier, but I think that it's never too late. And and in many ways, it's the right time, because President Donald Trump can say then whatever he says, and the Israeli government can say whatever they want to say. But at the same time, neither one of them is proposing something for the day after. This terrible war in Gaza must end immediately. The hostages must be released immediately. Then what are we going to do after? The only way to solve the Israeli-Palestinian conflict is going to be through diplomacy and through political stands. We saw that violence and war are not resolving it, and they won't resolve it. So it's time, and he's right. It's time to open a new chapter in the relationship of Israeli-Palestinian in the region. And I think that it's time for us, the European, and we saw that we mobilized many European countries. Most of them today recognize the Palestinian state. Many others will join us after the war. We are going to put it on the table for the Israelis and the Palestinians, and we are going to tell you, you take it or you leave it. You don't have a choice. The Israeli-Palestinian conflict, it's a problem. It's an internal problem in France. It's an internal problem in the States. It's an internal problem all over Europe. We want to resolve it because it's battery gas. We want to resolve it because it's morally right. It's time for the Palestinians to live with independence, with dignity, with liberty. And it's time for the Israeli to live in security. And the only thing that will guarantee the security for Israel is to have the Arab Muslim country recognizing Israel.
Let me jump in and ask you this. Since you advise President Macron, what we understand right now is that Netanyahu said, the Israeli Prime Minister, a man wanted by the ICC on allegations of war crimes, so he comes with that kind of baggage. This is a man who's, with that kind of background, says when he gets back from the US, he's going to take action. There's a lot of concern that the action he's going to take will be some kind of annexing of the West Bank and destruction of Palestinian communities there. In other words, attempts to strangle at birth the very state you've been advising President Macron to recognize, which he's recognized now. What would your advice be to the French president, what he should do? Should he get that green light from the US president? Should he go ahead with aggressive measures in the West Bank and an intensification in Gaza?
Listen, it has to be clear. The annexation of any more territories in the West Bank, so far, let's not forget that most of the territory in the West Bank don't belong to Israel. They are still under occupation, military occupation. Israel did not want to recognize them as Israeli territories. Only East Jerusalem and the Golan Heights were annexed. Now, if Israel will go into annexation of more territories, they are not going to arm the international community. They are going to arm the Israeli. And I'll tell you why.
But what will you advise President Macron to do? What should France do as a response to that, if that scenario happens?
Listen, since yesterday we recognize the Palestinian state. So if they are doing that, we are going to see it as an aggression to another state, which was not the case until now. And if we will see it as an aggression to another state, we will deal with Israel like we are dealing with Russia because we aggressed Ukraine. We don't want to get there. We would like to have a decent a constructive dialogue for the well-being of the Israelis themselves. If Israel annexes the West Bank and they destroy the Palestinian Authority, it will be $45 billion a year for the Israeli taxpayer to deal with education, to deal with health, to deal with all the needs of the Palestinians as an occupier. I don't think that the Israeli people wants to do it. I think that this government don't represent the interest of the Israeli people. It's too costly and it doesn't bring them nowhere. They're being isolated all over the world. So I don't think that it's in their interest to go forward. I don't think that even the American will stand by. I do believe that Mr. Donald Trump don't want to be isolated all over the world, and it's where he is now. But I think that at one point, and sooner will be better, the American will stand up and say, enough, it's enough. We are joining the international community. The two-state solution is the only way to resolve the Israeli-Palestinian conflict. We need to fight the Palestinian extremists, the Hamas, and the Israeli extremists who are part of this government. They are holding hostages most of the Israeli people, most of the Palestinian people. Look at what I'm wearing. Look which T-shirt I'm wearing. A child is a child is a child. We are opening a new chapter today at the UN for the children of the Israeli and the Palestinian children, for the children of the Middle East. That's the way to go to guarantee a better future for all of them. It's no other way.
Right.
Violence is not one.
Right. Ofer, appreciate that message, which I'm sure will resonate with many viewers. But I want to pick up on something you said, that, aggression against now what France sees as another state would be similar to how France views the Ukraine conflict. Well, in the Ukraine conflict, we know that European and Western countries are helping Ukraine. They're even arming Ukraine. Do you think France, we know, according to the ICJ ruling of July 19th, 2024, that there is an illegal occupation? We know that's it's going to continue. Should France now start thinking about cutting its weapons supply for the illegal occupier, and maybe about how to support and arm the occupied, as it does in that Ukraine analogy you made?
No, because the Palestinians don't have an army, and I don't think that to give weapons to the Palestinians will be useful, because they will be completely eliminated by a very strong power, which is the Israeli one, and they proved it. So I don't think that it's in the interest of the Palestinian to go into an armed conflict with Israel. It's in the interest of nobody. Nobody is going to get nothing out of it. Everybody will. But
Ofer, let me jump in and present you with a question we often hear from people in this part of the world, which is why? Why are the rights of Palestinians, if no one else is going to step in and stop a government that the UN says is committing genocide, why should the rights of Palestinians for self-determination, for life, to survive a genocide, be any less valuable than that of Ukrainians?
It's no less valuable. It's no less valuable. The proof of it, it's what we did yesterday at the UN. 12 countries recognize the Palestinian state. Other ones are on the line to do so. So it's absolutely a valuable way for us to express the anger we have towards the Israeli war in Gaza and the outcome of this terrible apocalyptic war. We are calling at the same time, and everybody did it, including the Palestinian president, including the Arab League, we are calling the Hamas to release the prisoners, the hostages. Without the release of the hostages, the Israeli will have an excuse or reason, whatever, to continue this terrible war in Gaza. Release the hostages, and then this war will end. And Israel cannot take the risk to be totally isolated. Israel is depending on the European market for their economy. If the European, and they made it clear to Israel, decide to cut this, to cancel this agreement with Israel, it will be very harmful to the Israeli economy. So I don't think that it's Israel. And you know what? All the polls in Israel are showing us that the majority of the Israeli people don't want this war anymore. The majority of the Israeli people want the release of the hostages, the end of the war, and many of them are even for a Palestinian state at the condition that an Arab country will recognize Israel. So this government is not representing the interest of the people. It's representing a small minority of extremist, messianic, fascist Jews in this government. And I'm very happy that they are not a majority in Israel. We have to fight them, and we will fight them. Against many of them, we are going to take some steps very soon. Many of them won't be able to travel in Europe. Many of them won't be able to have any business with European companies and with European establishments. So Israelis understand that we take a big risk.
I got so many more questions for you, but I'm being told off. Unfortunately, we're out of time at this point. Perhaps we'll have an opportunity to pick up on some of those points you're mentioning. Thank you very much, Ofer Bronchtein. We can see it. We can see your T-shirt and your slogan in English, Hebrew, and Arabic. Thank you very much, Ofer Bronchtein, the President Macron Special Advisor on the Middle East.
Don't miss out. Get the full picture. Subscribe to Al Jazeera for reliable news and expert insights. Like, share, stay ahead.